Welcome to our live web event. Today's topic is hosted by Spin Technologies. The topic today is G Suite, ransomware blocking, and disaster recovery. First of all, let's talk about G Suite for just a second. I know everybody here is interested in the G Suite ransomware topic. Let's just point out that at the end of 2018, there were more than 5 million end business G Suite users. Why are people using it? Well, some of the people on this call are probably old enough to remember managing send mail and postfix by hand. We know what that cost. We know that it was a lot of work. And we also know that we had a lot of secondary issues in addition to just managing the main.cf files and the servers and the disks. So the reason people are using G Suite, first of all, there's the practical part. It lowers the business costs. It lowers the IT admin costs. But then we get a lot of benefits we never got from email itself. We get email plus shared documents plus messaging. There's a lot of apps. It's trusted, fast, and secure. We love this stuff. It's actually changed many businesses for the better. So people are adopting G Suite. Well, that makes it more attractive. That blue curve resulting in a hockey stick makes it so that people who are in the ransomware business find it an attractive target, and that is what's been happening. We've had a significant increase, according to Gartner, more than a 700% increase in ransomware attacks. Ransomware is a business. People who are doing it are not doing it for fun. There may be some tiny subset that's doing it for malice, but most people are doing it for money. They target customers. They have multiple inbound pathways. They penetrate your network. They control your assets. Then they negotiate to get money. It's not quite that simple. There are actually significant impacts to ransomware in addition to a minor inconvenience and perhaps a large charge. The impact, as reported by RSA, is that there are a certain number of results, including bad, negative PR, etc. Current methods can't detect, stop, or remediate from ransomware attacks. Recovery at best can take days, and we've actually talked to a hospital that did everything they were asked to do by the ransomware team. They paid almost immediately. It still took them more than 4 days to recover, even after they paid a significant amount of money. And they got the decryption keys from the ransomware attackers. It took them 4 more days to get back online. So it's not the kind of thing where if you cooperate and you're a good victim and you give them money, you're back online. The impacts are very real. We've had a lot of reports of a complete failure for recovery and restore. We've had people say we had a backup system in place, we had a serious ransomware attack, and our backup would not restore all of our files. The impact to organizations is millions of dollars in cost, lost operational time, and lost data. Now, at this time, I'm going to turn the talk over to Davit. And the reason is because he's a technical expert. He lives in this world all the time, and he's going to walk us through in detail what happens in the ransomware world. And so at this point, I'm going to show the next slide, and Davit's going to take over. Davit, over to you.
Thanks, Grover. A couple things about myself. I'm responsible for customer experience here at Spin Technology. In this role, I'm also the first line for customer input and have the opportunity to work with research and development in implementing new feature in Spin1's functionalities. I've also been working with our ransomware research lab where we analyze ransomware attacks and techniques, constantly enhancing our own automated ransomware protection feature. That being said, let's begin our discussion, and let's start off with a typical ransomware attack. Let's see how it happens. Firstly, ransomware can be introduced to a G Suite environment or any other cloud service provider through a malicious email or application. And once that's done, that's it. The hackers have full control of your data. Ransomware is then activated and begins encrypting your files one by one. Encrypted local files are then synced with the cloud service provider. And as you can see, even our data in the cloud isn't safe. And with the majority of data turning to the cloud and with G Suite adoption being at an all-time high, ransomware has shifted in this direction as well, like the hockey stick you were talking about, Grover. Kevin Mitnick, I'm sure you've all heard of him, one of the world's most famous hackers, who's now turned over to the good side, thank God. He coined the term ransom cloud around a year and a half ago, showing how G Suite and other cloud service providers are easily affected by ransomware as well. And we all love G Suite, right? It allows us to collaborate, work, meet, and plan events together from anywhere in the world. And a simple phishing email can lead to the encryption of all your important emails and all your corporate Drive documents and spreadsheets. That being said, now let's check out the current detection methods that exist to prevent ransomware. There's three popular types: signature-based, abnormal traffic, and file behavior. And as these malwares are constantly changing and developing, it's really difficult to detect or stop a ransomware attack based on a signature alone, since this is only for attacks that are already known. Abnormal traffic can raise a lot of false positives and is a bit uncontrollable, hence why it's an also untrustworthy method of detecting ransomware. But from our research and experience here at Spin, we have come to the conclusion that analyzing file behavior is the #1 way in stopping ransomware attacks in the cloud. By comparing with normal file behavior, our solution can detect when files are being encrypted and revoke access to the sync application that is causing this. We don't block a user or remove a user. We simply revoke access to the application. We don't want a CEO's account, for example, being accidentally disabled. And now let's take a look at how Spin.AI battles against ransomware. So we have this figure prepared for you. As you can see, it's a multi-step process. And it starts off with one of the most critical steps, monitoring. So this is a continuous process, and we have an active state scanner that performs 24/7 monitoring of Google Drive files, detecting for abnormal behavior. And we do this by collecting information from Google called push notifications. Once we receive this information from Google, we head towards identification, where we use our AI algorithms and adjusting security patterns as we sift through tremendous amount of data, allowing us to find out when files are being encrypted or when an attack has started. Once we detect that a threshold has exceeded and an anomaly has occurred, we head towards the next step, which is identifying the attack source. Once we identify the attack source, we block the source, because this means that no new files will be encrypted in the meantime. We revoke access to the link between the attack and the user, hence stopping the attack. Once this is all done, the next steps are remediation and recovery. We perform a full scan of the Google Drive to locate any data that has been affected while the stopping process was occurring. And after we have done that, we run a granular recovery by restoring a previously backed up version of these files. And as you can see over here, our backup services are tied with the ransomware protection feature, as they are both essential for full protection. And it goes without saying that we notify you once an attack has started, once an attack has begun, and once the process has finished.
Okay, at this point, what we're going to do is Davit's going to get his screen ready. I'm going to switch screens over to him, and he's going to give us a live demo and show us what happens during an attack. So you'll see a little bit of screen changing here. I'll end this presentation, and I'm going to transfer the control over to Davit.
Sounds great. Thank you, Grover. What we're looking at right now is the Spin.AI dashboard. The top left is a summary of our G Suite backup services, and the top right is a summary of our G Suite security services. These both play a key role in the ransomware protection process, and I'll explain in a bit how. As the focus is ransomware protection itself, let's head over to that area and check it out. We have an active state scanner in place, which monitors events in G Suite and can take action at once. As you can see here, we have simulated 6 ransomware attacks in our testing environment. Besides stopping the source of the attack, our solution can also recover any files that were infected in the meantime automatically by using a previously backed up safe version. That being said, the whole process of detecting an attack, stopping the source, and recovering all of the data takes a matter of minutes. As we were talking about the hospitals, it took 4 days to recover all the files, whereas with Spin, it takes a matter of minutes, and this can all be done instantly. In all attacks where automated recovery of files were turned on, all files were successfully recovered, as you can see here. In the first attack, we disabled the automated recovery feature and tried out manually recovering the files that we wanted to. Now let's check out an attack and see what happened. As you can see, a ransomware attack had occurred on July 18, 2019. It started at 6:03 a.m. and it took 18 minutes for the process to complete. That means in 18 minutes, Spin was able to detect that an attack was occurring, stop the source, and recover all files that were affected in the meantime. 100 files have been, 108 actually, 108 files were affected in the time frame of this attack, and they were all recovered successfully, and you can see all of them listed over here. If there are any files that are unrecovered, you'll also see a new section around here and be able to go and manually recover those files as well.
So
And now
David, let me interrupt. This seems like it's a key issue here. The fact that you're able to detect it early means that there's not days of recovery. It seems like that's one of the key issues going on, where when the ransomware propagates through the entire cloud, you might have terabytes a day that need to get recovered, but you're detecting and stopping it early.
Mhm. That's right. We analyze the file behavior, and once we notice the threshold has exceeded, we take action. We stop the source of the attack and any files that were affected, which is not a lot, not millions like the hospitals were doing. 180 files were recovered in the meantime. All right. Going from there, now you might be wondering where this attack came from. Who was exposed to the ransomware? How did this happen? And we can do that with our domain audit section. Our domain audit provides administrators with full visibility of what's going on in their domain, categorized by a risk level. So it will let you know if something risky or anyone is downloading too much data, but we're focused only on ransomware. So let's check out ransomware events. And as you can see from over here, the ransomware infection started spreading from Victor Smith's G Suite user account, specifically from Google Drive itself. If we click on the event itself, we can see a list of all the files that were infected and can manually recover as well if need be. And that's the beauty of our service, that this is all automated, right? You don't need any human monitoring 24/7 or any human input at all. Spin backups automated. So Spin's automated activity scanner performs 24/7 monitoring of any domain. And to sum things up, a couple points as well. To fully protect yourself from ransom cloud, we here at Spin believe that you need a data backup solution with an active state scanner that can detect and stop the source of any ransomware attacks.
Davit, why don't you dig into this and explain what's the difference between cloud attacks and app attacks, and what's the current trend line? Is there an evolution in place? What's going on?
Got it, Grover. So like we talked about, the currently attacks are via phishing emails, or that's how they gain access to your organization. But we've done a lot of research here at Spin1, and we have come to the conclusion that the future of ransomware attacks are through marketplace apps. We download a lot of applications, install a lot of applications, and it asks for a lot of permissions. We don't think twice before giving in to the application. And these are all potential ransomware attacks that are waiting to one day take over the files. And that's why at Spin we started an initiative of assessing applications. We had an apps audit that you might have seen during the demonstration, which performs an analysis and lets you know what kind of access these applications have. And it's not only for current applications, but it's also for applications that were previously installed and deleted from any G Suite organization. But yeah, the future is apps, and we need to begin assessing and looking into the kind of permissions they ask for.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, we're opening the questions. We have a fair number of people attending. There is a question panel in the lower right of your GoToWebinar control panel. If you can't find it, look down in your task tray. You can see either a blue or a gold asterisk. That's the GoToWebinar app. Open it up and there's a question panel. We do have quite a queue of questions here, so please bear with us as we get to your question. So the first thing I've got here, David, is that there's a bunch of people who say, I have a backup solution. Particularly several people have said, we're already using Google Vault. So tell us, what's the difference between what we're doing here and what Google Vault does, and why can't Google Vault handle the ransomware use case?
Got it. And that's a good question. I actually get this question almost every day in my working environment. Vault, it's an archiving solution, and it does its job really well, which is archiving. However, it's not enough against ransomware. It doesn't have an active agent, for example, that can detect or stop and automatically recover any infected files. You can perform a bulk restore, like you said, but that takes too much time and causes major business disruptions. Whereas you need an agent that can stop the attack immediately so you can go back to business as normal.
Okay, thank you very much. How about other backup solutions? Are there any other, because there's some aftermarket backup solutions. Is that the same answer for them?
Exactly. So once ransomware has fully taken control of all your files, if you can have millions of files, restoring them can take weeks, days, and you don't have that much time. Whereas with Spin's backup plus ransomware, we stop the attack and recover only the files that were infected. So not everything, only the files, which can be 100, which can be 150, but it's much better than millions.
Okay. Now, I must have a dozen questions around either Symantec or Intel McAfee. People are basically saying we have McAfee and it's got ransomware covered features in there. What does this do that McAfee or Symantec or any other of these antivirus, anti-malware products, why is this needed and why can't Symantec do it?
Hmm. Symantec, McAfee, and other similar antivirus solutions are for on-prem data, and they're truly effective in protecting local data. But today, administrators need a solution to protect cloud data stored in cloud-based services. We said that G Suite adoption is at an all-time high, and this is where the focus of ransomware is going. Hence the term ransom cloud itself. And administrators need a cloud-based antivirus solution, a solution that can protect them against ransomware.
Okay, I've got questions here about network load. But does this have an impact on the performance of G Suite? Do we see a load on our network if we turn this on?
Oh, no. There's no performance issues with G Suite. Like I said, we work based off the information that Google sends us through push notifications, and it doesn't affect regular G Suite performance at all.
Okay, there's a bunch of questions asking how does this work. Most of those came in before you showed the flow diagram, but we may go back to the flow diagram in a minute. Now that people have seen this, we may go back and look at that for a second. But the real question is how do you find an attack source? So you'll forgive me, I'm going to go ahead and back this up to this. It says here we're identifying the attack source, right, in that middle attack response. How do we identify the attack source?
Well, when we're identifying file behavior and we notice that the threshold has exceeded, that means files are being encrypted. And when files are being encrypted somewhere, we can use those files to figure out where the source is coming from. There's something connected to that file that is causing this encryption. And once we find the source, we revoke access from the source application or the email. Give me 1 second.
That's fine.
We revoke access to the application from the user.
Okay, perfect. Okay, how fast does this happen? I mean, it says right there you do identification. How fast is the identification in the real world?
Oh, it only takes a matter of minutes. As we said, once we detect a couple of files being encrypted, our solution immediately takes action by locating the source and stopping it. Matter of minutes. That's it. Very quickly.
Oh. Okay, and I know that some of this is probably almost proprietary questions, but people, because you mentioned during the demo that there's an artificial intelligence factor in the identification. Can you tell us again? There's a question. People are saying their internal use of AI shows a huge performance load. Why doesn't our AI cause a performance load on their network?
Because we use the information that Google sends us, we don't cause an overload from their end. So we use the AI on our end to identify the normal behavior of files for different types of G Suite accounts. And this helps us reduce the number of false positives, for example, falsely accusing a ransomware attack. But everything is done from our end, which is why it's not causing an overload on the organization's end.
Okay, and then one of the more important questions I got here, again, I've got several people asking this. I'll give you just two of them. There's a university that wants to know, can we scale to 30,000 students? That's the first question. And then there's a large employer that wants to know, can you handle 100,000 employees? So realistically, can this handle 30,000 students or 100,000 employees? What's the real world answer?
Definitely, yes, we can. We can even do it today. We currently have customers much larger than that, and with our platform being scalable, we can meet any organization's needs anytime.
So this has already been deployed in installations larger than 100,000 customers.
Yes, more than 100,000.
Okay, that answers that question. I do have several requests. Can we send a recording? Can we send a PDF? Yes, we're going to send the PDF to everybody. We're going to send a recording. We also have a couple of requests which we've had before, and this is a good time to mention. First of all, obviously, if you want to find out more, go to www.spinbackup.com. There is a free trial you can install it, and it does exactly what Davit showed you. In fact, he's probably the person that would help you get going. He's the customer success expert here. But one question we're asked a lot is, can you show us this in private where we can be open mic? And we have to do that a lot. So if you would like to basically get your G Suite admin team or your security team online with us for private session, where it's just your team and us and the mic's open and you can ask questions, dig into this, just shoot us back an email. You can respond to the invitation you got here, and we will make sure that we set up a private session where just you, your team, and the Spin team is online at that time. I do have a couple of questions here that are asking very specific architecture questions. We're going to answer those one-on-one because it's kind of revealing a little bit about customers' infrastructure we don't want to do online. We do appreciate everybody attending here today. This has been a great event. We had a very large number of people ask for this. In fact, we've already had requests to do an event in Asia time zone and Europe time zone, and we're going to try to accommodate those as soon as we can. Davit, let's go back for just a minute and talk about, again, because I do have several questions on this, talk about what you mean specifically about apps, because don't the G Suite admins have control over their apps that can access and what users can install?
That's correct, Grover. They have information about the current applications that are already installed in their G Suite. So what we do is we provide an assessment of the applications besides the information given. We provide an assessment letting you know if an application is risky or not based on the amount of exposure you give to it. Besides that, G Suite only displays current applications. And like I said, with Spin, you can see a list of all the applications that have been installed, whether it exists now or not. You will be able to see the type of access it's had to your organization. And with that, you can figure out whether this is a potential ransomware threat or not, and you can remove the application from the organization if need be.
Right. I mean, I've observed that myself on my own G Suite admin console that I had an app that I had installed a few months ago, but it doesn't show up anymore. So what you're saying is with Spin 1, you can actually see those historic apps, even if they're not currently installed.
Exactly, because they still might have access to your organization, and we want you to know about that.
Okay, so in a typical large organization, how many apps are we really seeing? I mean, are we seeing lots of apps being installed by the end users?
Oh, definitely. With enterprises, especially, you have hundreds of applications being installed, and you need an assessment of all of them because you can't keep track of them. So you want an assessment. You want to see which applications have the most access to your organization, and if action needs to be taken, take action from there.
Okay, and I have one more question on scale. I have somebody ask, can you handle 50,000 users? They must either not have heard the last answer. So we'd had questions, can you handle 30,000 students? Can you handle 100,000 employees? Can you handle 50,000? And you said, I think that we've already got those installations bigger than that?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Like I said, we have much larger customers, and our solution being scalable, we can launch it anytime for any user.
Okay, I do have a request here, which is outside the scope of this event. People are asking for some kind of analysis, if you will, on the frequency of this occurring. Obviously, we're not going to do that today, but I think that's an interesting topic for the future, Davit, is to talk to people about, since we have insight into this, what are we seeing, how many of these attacks are happening, and what's the actual response result. So that'll have to be a future event.
Got it. I look forward to it. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much. Thanks for attending. It is now just about at the half-hour mark. We promised people this would be a 30-minute event or less. We will send everybody a recording, and we appreciate your attending. Thank you very much, and have a good day.